What's up guys, it's Tommy here and welcome to a very exciting, interesting Liverpool transfer news video. And the player that Liverpool are linked with today is Borussia Mönchengladbach's Dennis Zakaria, who is an absolute powerhouse in midfield. He can play in centre defensive midfield, but also crucially for Liverpool, he can play as a centre back as well, and he has 2 years left on his contract. Borussia Mönchengladbach, of course, don't really want to sell him this summer, but they could be tempted at with an offer of around 35 to 40 million pounds. So let me know guys, do you think that he is a player that we need even more than Thiago? That's a big argument that I have seen among Liverpool fans, and I would love to hear your opinion in the comments below. So let me know, which player do you think Liverpool need? Do you think we need a wide winger who can supplement Salah and Mane when they need the rest? Do you think we need a Thiago type of playmaker, deep-lying playmaker? Or do we need a versatile player like Zakaria who can play in defensive midfield or as a centre-back even when he's needed? Let me know guys, what do you think? And of course, leave a like on this video if you enjoy these, and subscribe if you haven't already for brand new videos coming every day to this channel. So the Daily Mail and many other newspapers are reporting that Liverpool have an interest in Dennis Zakaria, but Borussia Mönchengladbach don't really want to sell him until next summer because his contract runs until 2022. And Dennis Zakaria is a Switzerland international. He played 28 times for the Swiss national team. He's only 23 years old, so he's in that ideal age bracket that FSG and Liverpool love to target. Zakaria has made 96 appearances for Mönchengladbach. He joined the club in 2017, and Jurgen Klopp and Liverpool have fallen under intensifying scrutiny for their lack of transfer business. They have only made one addition, of course, which we know of, Tsimikas, but I think that Liverpool are working hard to bring in more players, and we are also working hard to sell and move on some players just to balance the books. Liverpool could still make a move for Thiago Alcantara at Bayern Munich, but there is now also a possibility that Liverpool might wait until the last week of the transfer window with that Thiago deal, or we might wait until January and sign him on a pre-contract and Thiago joins on a free transfer next summer. But then we might lose Wijnaldum to whoever signs him up, because Wijnaldum's contract will run out at the end of the season. It looks like that Spanish media is saying that Wijnaldum is going to stay at Liverpool. The links to Barcelona have cooled down. It looks like Barcelona are on the verge of signing Memphis Depay for 25 million pounds, which is an absolute bargain deal. And I think if Liverpool had more money, I would have loved to see Memphis Depay join Liverpool and do well, because I think he's a really good player, worth probably twice as much. But also Liverpool don't have the funds right now to make multiple transfers until we sell some players. So Dennis Zakaria is 189 centimeters tall, that's 6 foot 2 inches tall. He is mainly a defensive midfielder, but he can play as a centre back as well. He started off his career in Switzerland, where he was born. He played for Servette and Young Boys in the Swiss Super League before signing for Borussia Mönchengladbach in 2017, where he has been basically an ever-present. He plays around 33 games on average every season, and he played in the Europa League a few times with Servette and with Young Boys and Borussia Mönchengladbach as well. So he has a little bit of experience in Europe, but I think his physicality would suit Liverpool, because I think that we need a fourth choice centre back. Zakaria would be the perfect player. He's young, he's versatile. Jurgen Klopp can teach him and give him that football education that is needed to make the next level, step to the next level. And also Zakaria would be a player for like 35 million pounds, who could play for Liverpool for the next 5, 6, 7 years, and even if we sell him before that, we could get our money back. So basically it's almost like a free transfer if you consider that. And also if Zakaria develops at Liverpool, then we could sell him for double the amount of money that we signed him for. He could turn into a 50, 60, 70 million pound midfielder. So you might wonder what kind of player Zakaria is. And if I have to compare his playing style, he has shades of Pogba and Patrick Vieira in him. I'm not saying that he is on that level just yet, but he has, I think, the potential to do so. And even he himself said, I've been compared to Patrick Vieira and Paul Pogba before. Two players I really respect and in a way I see as role models. When I watch videos of them, I think I would like to play that way. And it's not an unreasonable comparison, because since the start of the last Bundesliga season, Zakaria ranks 7th for possession regains in the middle third, contributing 1.4 interceptions and 1.3 successful tackles per 90 minutes. And he also has had last season ball recoveries, 8.5 ball recoveries per 90 minutes. And also that is absolutely brilliant, I think. And Zakaria also said, I love to win back position. I also like carrying the ball and taking on opposition players, but I need to be more efficient, score and assist more goals and improve in the air. I've proved myself to be a quick learner, though, and I'm in the best place at Borussia Mönchengladbach to learn fast. I'm in Gladbach, he said, and I'm happy to stay here. Sure, you never know what can happen in football. You never know the future, but I feel comfortable in Gladbach. I'm looking forward to the new season and to playing under our new coach. And Granit Xhaka, the Arsenal midfielder, said this about Zakaria. Of course, they play together in the Switzerland national team. His development is outstanding. Having Dennis next to me makes me feel better, but he has to stay tuned. Now comes a very crucial phase for him in his development. And that's true, Zakaria is looking to make the next step, the big step in his career. Is he better staying put at Borussia Mönchengladbach from his own personal point of view and just to get another season under his belt where he would play regularly? At Liverpool, the competition is so fierce in midfield that he might not play there regularly. But I think as a centre-back, he could really challenge Joe Gomez and Matip for a starting centre-back spot, because Joe Gomez has been a little bit shaky since lockdown, and Joe Matip is also injury prone, and he's a brilliant player, Matip. I love him to bits, but he's in and out of the side because of injuries. So Zakaria, if he comes in and if he does well, he could really challenge Joe Gomez for a starting place in Liverpool's defense. What do you think about that? And Sky Sports pundit Paul Merson spoke about Liverpool and what they need in the transfer market. He said this: you look at the goals Liverpool let in against Leeds. Wow, I just think they turned up and thought that they would wipe the floor with Leeds. I think they need to buy someone. It wouldn't surprise me if they finished 4th this season, and I thought that before this game. It's the same team. They have a massive amount of players who have to play every week. Virgil van Dijk can't get injured, the fullbacks can't get injured, they haven't got anyone to replace the front three if they are injured. And I keep saying it, there is a famous fast food chain that used to sell more chips and burgers than anyone. They still did AdWords. You spend to stay at the top. If Man City get injuries, they will just play. We will score more goals than you anyway. What we will see later in the season is teams like Man City come into the fold massively because their squad is too big. That's why I worry about Liverpool. There's 5 or 6 players who must play week in, week out, otherwise the team is weakened immensely. This is the hardest league in the world. You have to be fit, it's the first thing. Passing comes well below fitness. You could be the best passer in the world, but if you are not fit, you are not playing a game. After that, it's about pace and passing the ball. And that's a good observation by Paul Merson, that Liverpool have 5 or 6 players who, for Liverpool to play at their full potential, they need to start Alisson, Van Dijk, Fabinho, Salah, Mane, maybe even Firmino and Henderson. These are like 6-7 players who need to be starting for Liverpool to get to 90-95 points again. And yes, we have some good backup players, but we have nowhere near enough squad depth that the likes of Man City has, and maybe even now Chelsea have a little bit more squad depth. I'm not saying that Chelsea is a better team, Liverpool's starting 11 is much better than Chelsea right now, but Chelsea might have a bigger squad with these 6 new signings that they made. So Liverpool have to be very careful not to not strengthen the team, and if we suffer 2 or 3 injuries, long-term injuries, then we could be in trouble. So I really hope that Liverpool can find some transfer deals in the latter stages of this transfer window. And Andy Robertson already spoke about his rivalry, in-house rivalry with Trent Alexander-Arnold on who gets the most assists this season. It's a long season, Robertson said, so we will see how it plays out this time. I had a lot of games to make up last season and I nearly got there. We both do this competition to get the best out of each other. These last 2 seasons we have shown that we can take the numbers to a whole new level for fullbacks, especially with Trent breaking the record for a fullback that had stood for many years in 2018-19. And then breaking his own record the year after, which was incredible. If I'm anywhere close to him this season, then I think we both had a successful season, because I can't see him not assisting with goals, and long may that continue. We like to create chances and hopefully that continues this season, because us making chances and creating goals is a big part of how we will play and we get a lot of joy from it. So long that may continue, but time will tell. It's obviously going to be tough to continue those numbers, but that's our aim and hopefully we can do that. So Liverpool actually had a secret game on the weekend where Liverpool invited Sheffield United for a friendly, and a host of fringe players were involved in this secret game, like Minamino, Zakaria and Ryan Brewster. The match finished 1-1 with Huddersfield equalizing through an own goal in the second half after Liverpool took the lead in the first half. Minamino scored early in the first half, and the Japanese international is continuing his red-hot form from pre-season. I really hope that Minamino will play a more prominent role, and I would actually give Minamino the first striker substitute spot instead of Divock Origi, because I think Minamino has just a little bit more in him, maybe a little bit more goal threat than Origi. Other players who took part in this game were Adrian, James Milner, Origi, Matip, Loris Karius and Harry Wilson. So Liverpool are just trying to keep these players match fit as much as possible. But very little has come out of this friendly, because even journalists with close ties to Liverpool are keeping quiet on a lot of the details of this training match. And I also find it very fascinating that former Liverpool striker John Aldridge says that Firmino needs competition, somebody to breathe down his neck basically and to force him into better performances, because Firmino right now is a guaranteed starter in the Liverpool team, and we might need to actually rotate Firmino a little bit in some games, or just give him a proper competition. And this is what Aldridge said. Bobby Firmino still seems to have the shackles around him a little bit. He got involved in midfield and he showed some nice touches again in the box at Anfield. It just wasn't happening for him again. He missed a good chance second half after a great link up with his strike partners, and obviously we all remember how it took him until the final home game of last season to score a league goal at Anfield. I don't know if that's still playing on his mind, because he didn't look himself in the box. There's been a lot said about Liverpool's stance in the transfer market this summer, but I can't help but feel it might do Firmino some good if he did have someone breathing down his neck for his place, so he knows he's got to score goals. Don't get me wrong, I'm a big fan of Firmino and he does some great things for the front three, which often goes unnoticed. But if you are a number 9, you have to score goals. That's one of your main jobs. That's the bottom line. He knows that. He's not been doing that at Anfield for the last year or so, and that needs to change. I understand the club's general position on transfers this summer, but it is a bit of a gamble in a couple of positions, because we have been relatively lucky with injuries the last couple of seasons, but you can't always bank on that. Transfers themselves are also something of a gamble for Liverpool, as it's hard to improve on what we've got and also convince players to sign who know they probably won't be first choice. But I still think we could do with another goal scorer. In an ideal world, the fans would have loved to have seen us get Timo Werner or someone of that ilk, but it wasn't possible. Freshening the squad up, even if it's just one player, keeps everyone on their toes and adds to the competition for places. And that's actually a very good observation by John Aldridge. But that's the problem. Liverpool are in such a strict financial situation that we probably need to sell some players before we can buy. So Harry Wilson, Marco Grujic, other players are for sale. But in this pandemic transfer market, you know, smaller clubs don't have as much money. So probably the asking price that Liverpool want for these players, we need to lower it, because if we can't sell these players, then we can't buy, and Liverpool might be short, if that's the case, for the whole season in terms of the squad strength. And Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain said in a fascinating interview that Liverpool players don't feel like Premier League champions, because as soon as when the TV is on and Sky Sports or RFS TV is airing, and as soon as somebody mentions in the program that Liverpool are Premier League champions, somebody will turn the TV off. It's very interesting. Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain said this. It's usually James Milner. Millie doesn't want people looking at that now, so it will get switched off pretty quickly. It was amazing to win the title, but it's done now. We can look back on it later, but we can't get caught up in it now. Why did we achieve what we did? Because we didn't lose our focus. It was always about what's next, and that's how it is now. As a team, it doesn't feel like we did it, if you get me. If we know we did it, we know we are in the history books and we have our medals to remind us. But being in and around the building, no one is talking about it, no one is giving off the impression that we are champions, and that's how it should be. And Liverpool always held their nerve when it mattered last season, and that hopefully will continue this season. We did hold our nerve against Leeds, and Oxlade-Chamberlain said, I felt that for the most part of last season. When I look back on the season, as amazing as it was, there were a lot of times when I wasn't happy with how I had played personally. That's me being honest with myself, which I think you have to be. I know I can do better. I don't think I was the only one who thought that. But if you look at the season before, when we finished second, we had a lot more games where we won 3-0 or 4-0. The difference last season, and it was obvious, was that in the games we didn't play well in, we were still able to win 1-0 or 2-1. We had found a way always to win the games. We were drawing those games before. We would win 4-0 and look unbelievable, and then we would not quite be on it and we would draw 1-1 and drop points. That didn't happen this time, and we are always honest with ourselves. There were a lot of games last season where we had come off and say that wasn't good enough, even if we had won. The Salzburg game is one. Remember that one at home in the Champions League where Liverpool were leading 3-0 and then we let Salzburg equalize before scoring the winner. If you had been in the dressing room after that game, you would have thought we had lost. Everyone's heads were down because of how the game had gone. The manager kind of had to come in and lift us. He said, I know that wasn't great, but you have just won a Champions League game for free. He knew we weren't happy, but that's the base that's kept us going. We are never satisfied even when we are winning. We know we can do things better. Listen, it's never perfect and it never will be, but you still have to try to be as individuals and as a team. You have to want more, and that's the kind of mentality that drives this Liverpool team forward. I just hope that injuries avoid us, and I really hope that you guys enjoyed this video. It was a lot of fun to make. Thanks for watching. See you later, guys. Goodbye.